What is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another episode of The Kingdom Says. I am your host, as always, Garrett Williams, and I'm joined tonight by my usual co-host, Mr. Kyle Henning. How we doing tonight, Kyle?
Doing well. It's a Monday after a Sunday after a Chiefs W, so we call that what? Victory Monday.
Victory Monday, yep.
It's a good Victory Monday. It's not a great Victory Monday. It's actually been kind of a rather annoying
Kind of
Victory
a disastrous
Monday.
Victory Monday.
But
you know.
they won, so
We did win. Yeah, the Chiefs
in
did
a game
beat the
where
Bengals.
they did not play well. So
No, yeah. But a win's a win. Beat the Bengals, which is always very satisfying to the tears of all the Bengals fans. They're great.
there are lots of tears, and most of it is about absolutely nothing.
Yeah, about some stupid stuff that is just really telling on folks if you think certain ways. But hey, we're gonna get into it. It was obviously a very hectic game, very chaotic game, and like Kyle mentioned, not a very good game from the Chiefs. And then obviously today, with all the information that has come out, we're gonna talk about that too. But we won, but it's not necessarily like.
Well,
all
the week
cheers.
started with not great news with the Hollywood
Yeah.
Brown news before the game.
Yeah, so that was the thing. Before the game, Hollywood Brown, it would come out that he was going to need surgery on that shoulder, that AC joint injury that he suffered in preseason that we anticipated might only be a couple weeks. That's what Tyreek Hill's injury was when he had it a couple years ago, ended up coming back after a couple weeks. And then although Hollywood Brown was feeling better physically, I guess the x-rays and scans had that area not healing properly. So he has to get essentially season-ending surgery. So
at least regular
season-ending surgery. Estimated return time is about early to mid-January, which is not great. Obviously, he'll be there for the playoff run if we need him still. But definitely sucks to not have a guy that you kind of planned a lot of your off-season and offense around, who's not going to be out there for the whole season now. So that's very unfortunate. So that was a little bit of a tough news the week or a couple days before the game.
Mm-hmm. Didn't really love that.
Yeah, didn't love that, obviously. And then you go into Arrowhead, at least get the dub, though, and whatnot. So we're going to talk about all that. We're going to break down some of the performances that we liked, a lot of the performances that we didn't like, and
there were
so on and so forth.
Not a lot of performances to like in that game.
Unfortunately, there really wasn't. Yeah, there's a couple. On the defensive side, there's a couple. Mm-hmm. Offense, though, it's that is still the issue. So before we get into all that, though, I'm going to take this time to remind you guys at the start of the episode this time to please like and subscribe the YouTube page right here if you're listening, or the podcast if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music or whatnot. Follow us on our socials, Kingdom Says Pod, and all that good stuff. Figure I get that in the start here this time. I don't know how many people are listening all the way to the end of our long but very enjoyable episode. So we appreciate you all for tuning in with us sometimes. We've got a lot to say sometimes,
And we have to do two shows in one, like we've had to do the last few weeks.
Yeah. So as you notice, we're doing this on a Monday, coming out on Tuesday. So we'll actually have 2 episodes for you this week, ideally. Doing a back to our old format of doing the review episode and then a preview episode later.
How the plan has been the whole time. We've just had, life
busyness and stuff. So yeah. But hey, we got to enjoy this season, even though it never goes according to plan. Offenses are never, especially around the league, offenses down. So it's never going to be very crisp and clean right out the bat. And that's how the Chiefs are looking right now on offense. So breaking it down, obviously you're going against a team, the Bengals, that have played the Chiefs many, many times. Lou Anarumo, very good defensive coordinator, who just something about him just like short circuits Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Something about him. They just, for whatever reason, can't seem to function on all high gears and whatnot. So that's where the night kind of should start, really, is with Mahomes, who, arguably had his worst game of his career, statistically wise. He did the lowest passing yards that he's ever had in a game that he's finished, only 151.
I don't even think it's arguable.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's a win, so almost, how
in a game where he started and finished it, that's the worst he's played.
I mean, I remember a couple years ago, the Titans lost that we had, and he had a pretty bad game. At least we win this game, so it's not. I don't know. You can go either way with it.
Look, man.
Also, a lot of yards called back from penalties, which penalties are a big thing in this game.
Also, throwing the ball to the other team multiple times.
Yeah.
And one of them...
Pretty bad ones, too. Yeah.
Horrible. One of them was a horrible pick. The first one. The second one is a little bit underthrown, and the other team makes a great play. The guy, they get paid too. That's fine. The first one, that looked like some people I've seen play college football 25 throwing over the middle and just not looking at the linebacker who's standing there staring at them. Like, you can talk to me about trying to move him with his eyes. You can talk to me about he just didn't see him. He thought he was not there, and he was standing there. And that, sometimes you get got, but that was not good.
He did get got, yeah. So 2 interceptions on the night from Mahomes. Really, it's tough, you know. And there was a third turnover, a Carson Steele fumble, mid time of the game. I think the only
middle of the game.
Yeah. So
3 turnovers.
3 turnovers,
including just an look, man. We don't do it very often. He doesn't catch a lot of flack, hardly ever.
Yeah.
That's a bad throw. Period.
Exactly, yeah. And Mahomes would own up to it, you know.
And
Mahomes
the deep ball down the sideline to Worthy was a bad throw.
Yeah.
The first one was a bad decision and a bad throw. The second one was just not a great throw.
Just not a great throw. Yeah, really leading Xavier Worthy on a play where Cam Taylor-Britt, he was I mean, great coverage by Cam, and phenomenal interception. Really great interception. But
also Xavier Worthy needs to fight for that football.
Yeah, and that's what Andy had mentioned post game. He said he's gonna learn that it's either he's getting the ball or no one's getting the ball.
Yeah, that's where I'm not as upset about that interception. I get all of the facets involved. The one to Kelsey, you know, the guy who's been in the league for checks notes 12 years.
Yeah.
When you're A, looks like you're trying to force it. B, flat out just a bad decision, bad throw.
Yeah, according to Andy Reid, it was a communication issue. Yeah, I just don't know. Either way,
and
just
that's
really
fine.
bad.
I'm not gonna tell you Andy's lying, but
either way, not a great throw from Pat. You know, just gotta have a better throw.
Press conferences, by the way, but I won't tell you he's lying this time. But I'll tell you, I don't think it matters when that's the throw and that's the choice. That's bad, and
pretty bad.
It's a really good thing that this defense, that everybody thought was going to fall off drastically, still played really well, because without them, this is an L, and not really a close one. They probably
I mean, it's really hard.
Blown out.
It's really hard to win games when you have 3 turnovers. Basically impossible, actually. So, yeah, really hats off to the defense for keeping us in it the whole game like they have been. It's kind of been the trend past year or so. With the offense the way they've been. But yeah, you know, it's just Mahomes had a bad game. He'll own up to it. We can't shy away from the criticism from him.
He also doesn't have them ever.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly. And it's you know, the offensive line, they were overall pretty fine outside of one guy, and we'll talk about Kingsley in a second.
Probably did not help Mahomes, but when he threw the first one, it was so early in the game that really
thing about Pat right now.
Yet.
When I'm watching Pat right now, the thing I'm noticing, he really, even though the offensive line is performing okay, he does not have a lot of trust in that offensive line. And maybe it's because of the opponents that they've had. You know, you have Trey Hendrickson on the other side, so he's going to create a lot of pressure very unexpectedly and quickly. So it's hard to be comfortable in a pocket like that, but we've seen some happy feet from Holmes. We have seen a little bit of happy feet, just, you know, overall kind of panicking in the pocket. Not really wanting, and you know, I can't discredit Mahomes when I say this, but he's not really wanting to stay in the pocket and get hit for big throws. You know, which is fair, right? We've seen some of these young quarterbacks around the NFL who are making these big plays where they're getting hit. I mean, Caleb Williams, boy, he was getting hit pretty frequently on Saturday Night Football, but you know, he'd make throws where he's standing in the pocket, gets hit as he throws, and then it's a decent throw, but it's what's the payoff?
He's holding the ball too long, but that's a separate conversation.
So what I'm noticing, though, Pat is not doing that. He is and that's kind of been Pat's play style the past few years, but he's trying not to take many of those shots. He's getting out the pocket at the first sign of trouble. Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's a smart play. It is, but you do need a little more confidence in your offensive line, and that's just he'll grow with it. You know, they're going to build on that and work on it. But just not a lot of faith in the offensive line to kind of stay in that pocket and deliver some shots,
Yes and no. Like I said, I think that first pass, that first INT, there's not really any excuses. He had a pocket, he had time, his feet were set.
That one's a bad throw. But overall, throughout the whole course of the game, he seemed to be. I mean, you can look at his passing chart. I mean, that's kind of a similar passing chart to a lot of quarterbacks in the league nowadays, with the emergence of cover two basically being a base defense.
There was a nice little chart that popped out that basically put time to throw and depth of target on a graph, and he's usually up here to the top and the right, and instead he was bottom left, and that's partly your line, and that's also partly the way that they want to run this offense to an extent, at least especially with what Anarumo does. It makes sense. With what Baltimore tried to do, it was quick hitters to Rashid because they kept leaving Roquan Smith in one-on-one coverage with Rashid. Yeah. So that makes sense from the depth of target perspective. The thing that jumped out to me was the time to throw portion of that program, and I think a lot of it had to do with the second game affecting that chart quite a bit, because Kingsley was largely okay in the first game. It wasn't great, but it was okay. Had a couple of bad ones. This week was a learning experience. We've listened, if you listen to New Heights or you listen to NFL players talk about their welcome to the NFL moments. Kingsley got like 6 of them. And 4 of them happened in a row. And that's why you saw Andy said, come sit next to me, big fella. Come hang out for a minute. And then immediately you also saw Wanya take a hands to the face penalty and Kingsley go, I could have done that.
I could have done, yeah. I mean, there's a deeper conversation to be had about the whole thing because, Kingsley Suamataia, obviously rookie left tackle, 21 years old, and they're leaving him on an island like they are. We talked about last episode that shows the amount of confidence that they have in him, but also it's like, don't be afraid to give the rooks some help, Like
I said I had issues with some of the things Patrick did in this game. I have issues with what Andy did in this game.
Yeah.
I know that you've had trouble with Lou, and I know that you trust your left tackle. But one-on-one with Trey Hendrickson for a whole game, basically,
just asking for disaster.
You helped Orlando Brown Jr., you helped Donovan Smith, you helped Jawan Taylor last year. Help the rookie. It's his first real game against a real elite pass rusher in this league. Because don't get it twisted, Trey Henderson's going to get paid.
I'd be very surprised if
it's not going to be in Cincinnati, but he's going to get paid this offseason.
Well, I'm pretty sure he already got paid by Cincinnati, didn't he? Because he came from New Orleans.
He has a trade request.
Oh, really? Because didn't he get traded from New Orleans, or
Maybe,
he signed a deal with New Orleans? He already got one contract.
He has a trade request in. Because they aren't paying him, and he wants to be paid as he should be.
Well, he's a dog, and when he first signed with Cincinnati, he was underpaid because he wasn't what he was now, and now he's 10 times better. And I can definitely guarantee you that Kingsley has not played anyone of Trey Hendrickson's caliber, probably ever. Like, I don't know how many times BYU is facing D lines that have that guy on the other side.
The answer to that is none.
Yeah, so it's like Kyle said, you gave so much help to these other guys, and they're not as athletic as Kingsley is, but all the other guys that they gave help to were also vets. So it's just one of those things. The rookie's going to learn, but
so here's the thing with Kingsley: a lot of what the issues were technique based.
Yeah, that was
a lot of it was technique, and that's good news because that can be fixed.
Sure can. Yeah.
That's the stuff you want. If you're going to lose and you're going to have issues, have it be stuff that's fixable. Don't have it be I'm too stationary or too old or too this or too that. What you've had with all the other left tackles.
Right.
Where Eric Fisher needed to put an anchor in his pants so he could stop power. Donovan Smith couldn't move. Orlando Brown Jr. was a stationary wagon.
Yeah.
Like, those are all non-fixable items. The Kingsley needs better technique is not is
That one's
not
okay. Yeah, that's something that you can put a lot of work in and still.
And if you don't believe
get
me and you think I'm making it up, go ask Mitch Schwartz, who, if you didn't, he did a film review of week 1 and talked about it on Twitter in week 2.
Yeah, Kingsley has been the eye of a bunch of O-line guys on Twitter. I know Baldinger, I think, has done some stuff on him.
Brandon
I know
Thorne.
Brent Thorne, Thorne has done so. Obviously, when you're on the defending
Brandon does great O-line stuff. Brandon
Thorne's,
Trench Warfare,
really
I believe,
is
the name of his.
It is, yeah.
So if you're not,
his Substack, I believe.
If you want offensive line conversation and you want Kingsley discourse, there's a lot of it.
Yeah, and and Kingsley addressed it too. Like when you're a rookie and you're given the keys to the left tackle job of the back-to-back chance, like there's gonna be a lot of criticism. There's gonna be a lot of eyes on you. And
he also has to be better.
Yeah,
and he knows that.
And I think I got confidence in him that he's going to get better.
Well, and he has confidence in him, and that's the thing that was most important to me. There's 2 pieces to this after all of that has taken place. One, Andy has benched a tackle at points to let him clear his head. Jawan Taylor.
Solid. Yeah. Jawan,
other folks.
Donovan Smith, I think, had a little bit of it.
I was going to say Donovan Smith.
He was kind of more injury related last year.
But he also wasn't having a good day. So we've seen it before. His response in the locker room when being asked about it and dealing with the questions, big time things. Yes, Saquon just scored. That's why Garrett fist bumped.
If you look in the background of Kyle's screen, that helps me on my bets. Anyways,
so that's a key portion. The other thing, Andy was like, I think it was the right choice, which obviously it was. They won the game. And it'll be the right choice if he starts or if he doesn't, which was an odd quote, but that's just Andy not willing to give up any information in a press conference.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be Wanya. I expect it to be Kingsley next week against Atlanta.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Who, by the way, is behind me playing Philly on the TV screen.
Also, Saquon's touchdown might get called back, so
great. So
it's tough.
there's just
oh my god dang it. Okay, sorry, I'm distracted.
There's a lot of question marks with a rookie left tackle, and there's going to be. And obviously Sunday was bad. It was not good by any stretch. But again, technique, their answers, the confidence. I hate the tush push. Andy's comments. There's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to like. That it's not the end of the world, and they still won the game.
But still won the game. And that's what we gotta highlight at the end of it. So, a couple more things on the offense. Travis Kelce obviously did not have much of a day. Still not giving him. Yeah, well, he had a couple that should have been big plays that were called back.
He lost his reception streak of 3 catches or more.
I know,
because of that also.
Yeah, and he would have had a good amount of yards in the day if that didn't get called back. So, still not necessarily needing Kelce in the offense. I mean,
blocking a lot.
Blocking. That's the thing. That's what they've been using him for in the offense, which is really good to see. His role that they've been using with that. So Travis, it's not great for fantasy owners and for people who bet on him to score at least like even 25, 40 yards maybe. I don't know, but that's not something that's super big worry for the season.
No, he'll continue to. They'll start to actually dial him up more.
Yeah, and also you're going against 2 teams that have gotten
refused to let him beat you. Yes,
so many times. Yeah, Travis Kelce has beat. I mean, obviously he had 100 yards versus the Ravens in the AFC Championship last year. He's done many numbers to the Bengals before, so both of those teams were very much like, hey, he is getting shut down and bracketed and looked at.
We're gonna put 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
half the defense.
So that's just to be expected.
The other thing that we need to talk about, though, that really the offensive line did well on is running the ball.
Run ball, yeah. Run blocking was huge from the offensive line. They were moving bodies, and Isiah Pacheco was
pretty consistently.
Pretty
consistently moving bodies. And honestly, I wish they would have run the ball a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which I know Pacheco had 19 carries and 6 more catches, I think. He had 25 touches on the day.
He had a big day. And Carson Steele had some good carries. Really good carries.
Carson Steele also had a rookie moment.
Yeah.
I would also like to see some more ball security out of Carson Steele.
He
He's
got a
not
little
shady.
overconfident, you know?
No. It's the way he carries the football. It's not overconfident. It's the way he carries the damn ball.
Well,
He's
yeah,
not LaShawn.
not much ball security. Yeah.
He's
That's
not
the thing.
LaShawn, who carried it out here like a loaf of bread in one hand and was just walking
Yeah,
around
he's not
with it,
that bad,
waving
but
it.
he does.
But
There's a little
it's
loosey goosey.
loose from his body a lot. It's one hand from his body a lot, and he's running in traffic. And when you do that in the NFL, especially today's NFL, them peanut punches.
Yeah, that's pretty much a big thing. Almost all linebackers or DBs are going for that nowadays. So it's just something that he's going to learn from. And like Andy even said, like he doesn't really have a history of that being a problem. So that'll happen. But like Kyle said, the offensive line in the run game they were doing really good,
mauling people.
Yeah, they were pulling out some good run concepts. Everyone was blocking really good, obviously, including got to mention this, of course, the mega power formation that they broke out, which if you guys missed it, they put out Carson Steele.
I don't know how you missed it if they did.
They put Carson Steele at running back. They put Noah Gray in the backfield as one fullback, and then the other fullback in the full house formation was Leo Chanel.
Everyone's favorite offensive weapon, Leo Chanel.
The Swiss Army knife who just keeps on getting new pieces. Like there's like, you know what? We use him everywhere on defense. Might as well use him on offense too.
We'll talk about that here in a little bit also.
And the funnier part is that he goes out there in a 4-point stance. He's
also
all
real block.
Yeah.
Like a legit full on.
He sent it. Yeah, he sent it on the block. So they ran that 2 times on the same drive. The first time they did it in a short yardage situation. They ran the ball with Carson Steele, and that ended up being a pretty good game. And then they broke it out the same drive. Andy Reid said, I'm not even going to wait a drive, or a quarter, a game to put this on tape for someone to fool. I'm just going to do it in the same drive. We're going to come out, same formation, right at the goal line, except this time it's actually a fake, and it's a quick little pass out to the eligible Wanya Morris.
Did you say quick?
Quick
pass to Wanya Morris.
Quick pass. Wanya, he hustled out there.
Nothing about that was quick.
Moving. Yeah.
And Wanya in his interview told you it was like it was in slow motion. It took forever to get to me. I knew he wasn't going to cover me, so I turned around and was waiting for the ball, and it just took forever to get to.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal play call, and one that, it beats the Bengals. However you want. Travis Kelce is also wide ass open on that play in the end zone.
Yes.
Because the Bengals literally just completely commit besides one guy on the edge who was just kind of standing there watching.
What's the Madden play? Blitz all in that?
Yeah, exactly. If they ran engage 8, they did the whole thing. They engaged all of them.
That's the goal line blitz all play. That's not even
right. Yeah, it's a good old so great play, great touchdown. Wanya Morris, who now has more touchdowns on the season than Jamar Chase. Very interesting stat there.
He also had the same number of catches against elite corners.
Yeah. So it's the Chiefs were toying with the Bengals a little bit there. And ultimately offense. Like we said, a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done. On offense.
The offense, and Patrick said it in his post game, and it's correct. That was ugly. It was messy. It was sloppy. It was gross. It was also a W. And those words all sound better and look better when they're spelled with a W. So,
yep. So we'll see how that keeps on progressing. I got a lot of faith, obviously, in the best quarterback, best head coach in the league to figure that out. So,
they got some things to fix, but it's week 2. It's September.
It's week 2.
We don't typically care about anything this team does until well after September, like November, December.
January, February. Yeah.
It's nice that the NFL decided to start us off with 2 huge games off the gate so we could have to care about September, which I'm minorly annoyed about. But I also wouldn't have really been too worried even if we were 0-2 after these first 2 games. So
exactly. But we're not. We're 2-0, which is great.
And that, by the way, this team being 2-0 and both of the other 2 teams that we have played to start the year being now 0-2 after, I'm going to say one team looked ahead and one team looked behind, and it cost them both a game in alternating weeks.
That's pretty tough. Yeah, that's
and
pretty
now
tough.
The Pittsburgh Steelers lead the AFC North by a comfortable lead.
Yeah, that's great for seeding purposes for the Chiefs to get these games knocked out early. So, on to the defensive side of the ball, which was a lot more fun to watch. Got to start off, of course, with our guy Chris Jones, who had a monster game. I don't know officially
if the
they gave him more
didn't
than
show it.
Yeah, because he only had like a half sack.
I think it was only a half.
Yeah, he had a half sack with George.
And I don't even and it was a half sack, but I don't think George needed Chris to push the top half of Joe Burrow's body over. I'm fairly certain George had that all taken care of by himself. Yeah. But Chris got there in time to help clean it up, and Burrow wasn't able to get rid of it. So half a sack each.
Yeah,
call it a day.
Chris was absolutely mauling the Bengals offensive line per usual. I mean, that's what Chris Jones does.
If they gave assists for forced fumbles that you don't actually touch the guy on, he would get an assist.
Yep, because he blows up the play that Joe Burrow has to try to scramble out of.
Instantly.
Yeah, like Joe Burrow isn't even on his second step in his drop back, and he's already won type stuff. Yeah,
I think it was Steve Pizzola who put the clip out, but literally Burrow is not even putting his foot down for step 2 in his drop, and his guard and center both lost already to Chris Jones.
Where's Chris? Oh yeah, right at the middle. And then obviously Joe tries to scramble out of there, gets wrapped up by. It was Dana who had the forced interception or the forced fumble.
No, Dana had him wrapped up. Turk Wharton popped the ball out.
Oh, Turk had it. Yeah, Turk. So it's a good.
I couldn't tell those guys for about 17 replays who actually hit that ball out of his hand.
Yeah, well, it's tough.
And I honestly think it might have been both of them, but I know Turk hit it. I still can't see if Dana's hand hit it also.
Yeah, it took a lot of replays to even see the ball coming out on that play, just because the weird angle that it was. But
it popped out from under his ass.
I know, yeah, that was the thing, because he pops it out pretty early, but he's just kind of over top of it the entire time right out of his ass. So it was definitely a phenomenal play by the defensive line, and then Jamari Connor running in, scooping it up and scoring.
I'm just glad they didn't blow it dead, because I was almost positive they were going to blow it dead.
I was honestly, watching it live, I had no reactions to the play, because I was like, did they really? Is that actually a fumble?
I saw the ball come out. I wasn't sure, but I also know the old NFL angle, doesn't ever let the play run. They used to blow that shit dead immediately because they thought they knew better than everyone else.
Exactly. But on the main camera angle, the ball, you can see the ball comes out, but it pops out of the pile after they're all down. So it's you're like, wait, did that just pop out at the end, or when did that ball? So I had no reaction until you can actually see the replay, and it's oh, that actually was a fumble. That's great. Phenomenal play by everybody. So Chris Jones, just a phenomenal game from him. Just calling
still nightmare fuel for. And he was picking his matchups again.
He was, yeah. Once again, he was picking the matchups. Had a couple of good reps against Orlando Brown, old teammate, which of course. And the rest of the D-line had a pretty good outing too. I mean, George
they only had 8 active D-line this game, which was interesting.
Yeah, Cameron Thomas inactive. Yeah,
it looked like maybe there were some guys that were getting a little at some points.
Yeah.
But that said, the main 4 showed up and showed out.
Tershawn Wharton too. I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit. He has been having a really good season so far, and he had a couple really, really good plays as well.
Turk is one of my favorites. I've talked about it before on here. I love that kid. I think he got a short end of the stick with that injury he got in his second year that kind of derailed things, and he got a bad rap for a little bit. He's been nothing but great since he got fully back from that injury. And he's continued to increase and improve as it's gone. It was just the Wingstop commercial that should be banned on television, Tank.
At the doorbell?
Yes. It should be illegal.
Yeah. That should be illegal, I agree.
You should not be able to put a doorbell in a commercial. It's like putting freaking sirens in a radio ad. I was just going to say that. Yeah, sirens
and ads or songs or anything. Yeah, can't have it.
I literally got up and walked to the living room earlier to ask my wife if somebody rang our doorbell because I wasn't sure if it was from the damn television or the actual doorbell.
Wingstop, they have great wings.
That's fine. Stop causing actual issues for people with these stupid commercials.
Anyway, is better. Anyways, to extend from the defensive line talk to the honorary defensive lineman, Leo Chenal, who we already talked about one time on the offensive side. Defensive side, he had a day, as always.
Leo had the best day of any linebacker on this roster.
Yeah, I mean, by a pretpretty long shot too.
For the second week in a row. And
they were lining him up all over the place. He had a rep at 3 tech on a duo play. They were lining up at edge. They were blitzing him. Leo Chenal has become
spying Lamar Jackson last week. In coverage.
He has become like one
rushing.
Of their favorite kind of chess pieces. And we know that Spags loves his chess pieces. And having a chess piece that's 250 pounds that runs and hits the way that Leo Chenal does. And Joe Burrow found out on that little quarterback sneak he had that Leo Chenal does not budge. He does not budge. Yeah, Joe led into him with his throwing shoulder. Not the smartest.
I don't know if I'd have gone that route.
Not the most recommended thing.
It's not Nick Bolton that's gonna let him run you over for a first down. Oh wait, did I say that out loud?
He ain't budging. Yeah, so Leo Chenal, obviously highlight of the linebacker room, and really the whole defense. I mean, he's one of the best players out there.
Him and Chris tore apart.
Yeah, that is a huge reason. Those two are a huge reason why the Chiefs defense is as good as it currently is. The reason that the Chiefs defense is not that great still is because of the other linebackers in the room, and specifically just really with the covering the tight end issue. That has been a theme through the first 2 games, through the past couple games of this unit. Tight ends are eaten. They are racking up yards like no other.
It's not just the tight ends is the problem.
Yeah,
let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. It is the tight ends. It's not just linebackers that's the problem.
Oh, yeah. Not just the linebackers.
When you have a corner losing clean a route to a tight end, that's a problem.
It's a problem.
I'm not here to on Josh Williams, but buddy.
Yeah, he didn't have the greatest of game.
Josh made a great special teams play.
He did have that play, yeah.
But you can't get torched by Mike Gesicki on any route.
Yeah.
At all. Period.
Yeah.
Do bad plays happen? Do bad things happen? Sure. You're a corner against a mildly athletic, never really been good in this league tight end.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for what happened with that. And that's not just to Josh Williams, but he had one. Justin Reed did not have a great day covering tight ends, partially because he's still coming back from an injury and got banged up twice.
I
think has a hand issue that we haven't really talked about. And they were like, oh, he has a cut on his hand. I'm like, yeah, he's had a hand issue for like 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now, it seems like. So, yes,
and
that's
he had
a problem.
The quad injury too in training camp as well.
Now that's the thing that I think is probably affecting the coverage more and he actually straight up slipped and fell one of the times trying to plant off of the injured quad. So do I expect that to get better? Yes. Drew Tranquil did not have a good day as a linebacker in coverage, overrunning a play after he was actually in decent coverage. He then overran the tackle and whiffed. Like, we know Nick Bolton can't cover particularly well. It's never been a strong suit. So I'm not here to harp on that too much because there's just not really a point. He's not going to get better at it. He's not. We're in year what now? I'm sorry. If you're a Mizzou fan or you're a defender of Nick Bolton, awesome. He's a 2-down linebacker.
Awesome.
He's a 2-down linebacker. He cannot be on the field in third downs. He cannot be on the field in obvious passing situations. Unless you're going to blitz him only, he can't be on the field. And that is not a guy, and this is where my issues with him are, you can't pay that man Fred Warner money.
Top market money.
Close to it.
No.
And there are going to be some folks that don't like that. Former player doesn't really love it. I love Jason Dunn to death, but the whiting the right horse for Nick Bolton being bad at what he's been bad at for 4 years is crazy to me.
We'll see how it continues to go on the rest of the season. We'll see if they make
the rest of the linebacker core and the safeties to step up, because Spags can't continue to ask him to do stuff in coverage that he can't do and expect it to go well. So somebody's going to have to step up and take that role from him. And I hope it's Jaden Hicks.
That'd be cool. I haven't seen much Jaden Hicks besides he came on a couple plays in place of Justin Reed that game. But yeah, that's gonna be something to watch going forward. A couple other highlights on the defense. We talked about Jamari Conner a little bit already, but he had a really good game. He had a very solid game, which is good to see from the young second-year safety.
He's flying. He's everywhere.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who seems to be making a step up this year, which is good, which is really really crucial. Trent McDuffie, we definitely have to highlight him.
About team shut it down,
yeah.
Look, I thought Jalen Watson had a better day, much better day.
Jalen Watson had a good day.
Yeah, ball that he gave up where he got lost a little bit.
Yeah,
he actually played really well all the way up until that point and after that point. I think he's probably your corner 2 now. He's probably fully taken that job.
Yeah, he's already kind of been. I mean, he's been that role, but I think he's definitely secured.
Yeah, but he's actually taking it now.
Yeah, he's actually
kind of being by
doing
default.
Okay, not just like thrown out there and then it's like no, he's taking that role.
So here's the deal. Trent is a all-pro shutdown corner. Period.
Sure
That's
is.
why they were comfortable losing L'Jarius. That's why they weren't willing to pay that price for him. It's a huge piece of what they're doing with this defense this year and going forward. He is that good.
Yeah.
If really you don't believe me, ask Jamar Chase. Oh, wait, he's not going to talk about it because they tried to, and he wouldn't talk about it in his post-game press conference.
He will get flagged for it, though. What a stupid flag.
I say that because the frustration and the penalty that you watched Jamar Chase take that knocked them, I think, out of field goal range and definitely out of first down range.
Yeah.
On a drive that they needed points or to end the game on is because Trent didn't let him do anything. Jamar Chase's biggest play of the game was being a bum and getting away with OPI. That was his biggest play of the game.
Yep. Sure did.
And I'm sorry,
that was
but
pretty clear OPI.
If your main talent is push-off merchant, I don't think you're an elite wide receiver, Jamar. I don't.
No.
And
you've been getting exposed more and more, yeah.
And you know what? It is what it is. And they're going to let you get away with it a lot of the time because you're a receiver and this is an offense-driven league. But your whole game is being the guy that gets away with stuff. Yeah. And then when you don't get what you want from the calls, you try to berate an official into giving him the call you want. And then you try to fight your quarterback 3 times.
Yeah, then you just blatantly disrespect your quarterback.
And by the way, all of that was caused because Trent McDuffie, he was wearing Trent McDuffie like a blanket for an entire game. Yeah, because
Trent McDuffie just tackled him, which wasn't even close to a hip drop tackle or a horse collar or anything. He just
the fact that he thought it was a hip drop tackle is the part that cracks me up because Trent never even touched the ground.
Exactly. Yeah, Trent was above him the whole time.
Feet are planted. His butt is barely above Jamar Chase's body, like this far.
Yeah, Jamar Chase has
never touched the ground, and Jamar just automatic. Oh, I can't believe that wasn't a hip drop tackle.
Yeah.
And now because it's us, everyone on Earth thinks that there should be magic penalties called, which is fun. It's nice being the villain.
Yeah, and then people are suddenly surprised that there's a thing called like abusive language to officials, as if this is new, and as if Chris Jones didn't get that exact thing called on him a couple years ago because he called Matt Ryan names.
Except he didn't because you said abusive language to an official, and all he did was abuse Matt Ryan's whiny bitch ass.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it was into an official.
Even then, we didn't get the same calls and treatment that those whiny clowns are. The fact that Jamar Chase wasn't ejected from that game is crazy.
Pretty surprising. Yeah, it's
crazy. He contacted an official, accidental or not. That's a bye-bye.
That's usually that's usually pretty gone. Yeah.
He better get fined for it because if they open up that Pandora's box, they have the punching people in the face and not getting flagged or ejected for it box. Things are going to get out of hand.
Yeah. So,
Trent McDuffie is the dude. He allowed 1 catch for 4 yards on 17 snaps of the 38 that Jamar Chase took. And by the way, he only took 38 of 61 snaps for them, in case we're keeping track at home.
Invisible.
But Trent is that dude. He's also going to be a guy that they pay.
Oh, yeah. They're going to pay him. It's justifiably so. Yeah.
They're not going to pay everybody. Nick Bolton. They're not going to pay everybody.
Nick Bolton probably not going to pay, but But Trent, yeah, he's on his way to another All-Pro season. He's gonna get paid this year. He's definitely one of the highlights of the defense every single week. So, yeah, with that, that's pretty much all the defense. I mean, defense had a much better day than the offense. Still some things to work on, obviously. Middle of the field, bend don't break. You got a couple in the end zone that they gave up. And Andre Yoshivas, I think is his name. The very, very interesting one. But he had a great game. But yeah, just can't be having Andre Yoshivas look
blown
like
coverage on him once for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Also, if that dude and a bunch of the random tight ends that they have, like Drew Sample and Mike Gesicki, are the guys that are gonna.
If that's who's beating us, oh well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
That was the game.
They didn't beat us.
Yeah, they did not. We beat them.
And why didn't they beat us, Garrett?
Well, that turnover.
The refs favor the Chiefs.
Yeah, that penalty at the end of the game. That was very clearly a defensive pass interference that people just don't understand. It's crazy.
No, they understand. They just it's called being willfully obtuse.
Willfully, yeah.
And it's because you're the supervillains now.
Yeah.
This is I tweeted this because ESPN's Bengals reporter decided to confirm for us what we already knew. This was the Bengals Super Bowl.
Yeah. Joe Burrow. They said Joe Burrow is the most pissed off ever after a loss. It's like, bro, it's week 2. What are you talking about? You're pissed off.
He's so upset that he had to wait 2 days to answer the question. He can't, or 3 days, because he can't answer it until Wednesday.
Yeah. It's just like, oh my goodness.
So here's the thing. When every game is the other team's Super Bowl, you're gonna deal with the refs cheated us. This happened. They got that given. It's gonna happen constantly, and there's gonna be games where the refs didn't do anything, and I mean nothing. Like there's nothing that happens that's even controversial that you'll hear controversies from, because it's just the new fun thing to do because the Chiefs are too good. So from that perspective,
and the refs were bad on both sides. That's something that we got to, like, people make big deal of that last one. Obviously, like we mentioned, the offensive pass interference earlier that Jamar Chase got away with.
They missed hands to the face on the same play from the defensive tackle, and then Bengals fans were trying to claim it was holding.
Like,
which
there were
hilarious.
So many bad calls. Honestly, the refs in this game were pretty bad on both sides. That's kind of been a trend with the refs recently. They have been not the greatest.
Recently?
Well, yeah.
If recently is the last 3 to 5 seasons, I guess recently.
Yeah, maybe like past 5, 6, 7.
They've
recently not been
horrible.
good. Yeah. It's not getting much better. I'll tell you what, it's not getting much better either. So.
I do like some of the things they've added with, like, the quick buzz down replay can tell you you're stupid real quick and fix it.
That's all been good stuff.
All that's fine.
Didn't see any like crazy like illegal like line up in the backfield penalties or any of that stuff.
17 points of emphasis that no one's ever heard of before.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they've called the hip drop tackle once, which I think is what people are very up in arms about.
You mean like when Joe Mixon actually got hip drop tackled and got injured by it and they didn't call it?
Jordan Addison got injured by it week 1. Yeah, it's, the NFL officiating.
But imaginary hip drops are definitely worthy of having a nuclear meltdown and getting 15. You probably should have got ejected for. So the other thing was, not only did they get a penalty for blatant defensive pass interference by a 7th-round rookie. That's who went
7th-round rookie. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe don't have him out on the last play. Maybe
accidentally punched Rasheed in the back of the head to where it tilted his helmet down and tilted his whole head down.
People acting like Rasheed's not going to catch that. What do you mean? Like,
hey, it's also a Hail Mary. Didn't you know that was a Hail Mary?
Yeah,
it's just like every Hail Mary I've ever seen in my life.
Unless you're Lamar Jackson, and it can only throw it 40 yards down the field. That is not a Hail Mary.
He ran it.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Yeah, because he doesn't.
Ran his Hail Mary.
Because he can't actually throw a Hail Mary. So that was their whole plan. The Ravens' Hail Mary plan is Lamar Jackson run.
So then they get that call, and instead of trying to in years past, they try to push it and like push the ball down the field and get more yards to get closer.
Yeah, didn't matter.
They got to the 50-yard-ish range and were like, nah.
Yeah, we good. Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, that was a big thing that was mentioned on I think it was a Sunday Night Football broadcast by Collinsworth, how like a 50-yard field goal, like a 50+ yard field goal is like a 300-yard drive in golf. Like it's so automatic these days. Like it's not even something like 50 yards,
not for
especially from a guy
everybody.
like Harrison Butker.
It's not
There's
for
not
everybody,
even
Buffalo, but it is for for a
yeah.
lot of the really good kickers.
Yeah, for the really, and Harrison Butker has now firmly cemented his position as the most clutch kicker in the NFL. Not
He's
Justin
the best kicker
Tucker
in the
is
NFL.
washed. Yeah, he's not. He's not
Justin
in there
Tucker is
anymore
1 for his last 8 from 50 plus.
from 50 plus, and Harrison. Like I tweeted after the game that not even one nerve when Harrison goes out there. You know,
No,
it's like,
and
and
that
that's
ball was
obviously
good from like 15 yards farther
that's
back.
obviously how the rest of the Chiefs feel because they just said 51 yards. We don't even gotta worry about it. Just send Harrison out there. We'll win this thing.
I felt better about the 50 yarders than I do when he kicks extra points.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. And he almost had a 68-yarder that
was never happening.
Yeah,
not with
it would have if there was
left.
like 4 seconds left on the clock.
No, as soon as I looked down and there was 24 seconds left on the clock, I was like, there is.
And they had no timeouts, so they really couldn't do
any
anything.
chance
They really couldn't do anything to drain that clock out more. But it would have been fun. He would have nailed it, I bet, and that would have been electric. So, so yeah, it was quite the day.
They played for the field goal. They were rewarded for the field goal.
Yep.
They kicked it with time expiring.
Also, a fun stat about that Butker kick. That was the first game-winning kick Butker had that the Chiefs were actually losing before he kicked. So every other, because he's had so many game winners we've seen. I guess all these other ones.
So many clutchers. Game winners, clutchers. That's the first game winner he's ever had.
Well, we've had some where we're tied and he kicks it.
Sure.
And so that wins the game. But this is the first time where it's either you make it or you lose the game type deal. So
yeah, and
pretty cool.
It was also in week 2, so I thought that was also quite a sentient, I guess, point by Collinsworth. He's like, yeah, he's kicked it in the biggest stages. He's not going to miss week 2. I'm glad he said it after he kicked it, because then I would have had nerves.
Yeah. Can't be having those announcer jinxes before the thing. So overall, Chiefs go out of Arrowhead with a W. But unfortunately, there are some downsides to said victory.
One main one.
One pretty big downside. Isiah Pacheco, who had left the game pretty late, was nursing ankle injury out there. You could see on the sideline they were giving him some work.
It was nasty. Did you see the hit?
I saw, where he got injured.
He gets folded?
He got folded up on, and then so obviously a lot of adrenaline after the game. He was very excited and happy.
So much of it that they had him doing the post-game selling on the Chiefs commercials.
So obviously he gets to the locker room and he was very emotional per reports in the locker room. He left the stadium with a walking boot and crutches to find out more of the extent of the injury today. Today we found out that he did have a fractured fibula
at the ankle. So expected timeline for that is, from what I saw, 6 to 8 weeks. Is what I saw. That's what the new updated timeline is. I'm glad that it's that, because I was much more concerned it was going to be closer to that 12 to 14 week
exactly.
range.
So Pacheco out 6 to 8 weeks. That's pretty much confirmed now at this point. He is going to be. I think he actually.
Bye week will help.
Yeah, it's. I believe they had someone tweeted out that he was set to get surgery, and he already has surgery lined up for that.
They don't typically wait around on that stuff. That's usually as fast as possible.
Good to get that out. At least it'll probably be on at least 6 weeks, 8 at the most. So with that opens up the discussion of the rest of the running back room. Obviously you have Carson Steele, who is still there, who, like we talked about, had a good game besides the fumble. You have a lot of hope and promise with the young rookie.
He's not going to be every down back.
You have Samaje Perine there, who's the third down back, who hasn't seen much. He's only been there for a couple weeks. But you're going to need another body probably. You're probably going to need another body to.
That's because your other body is unavailable for at least 2 more weeks.
Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire still on the NFI list, correct. I believe that's the one. Yeah, so he's still inactive. Obviously, they have a couple bodies on the practice squad, which don't instill a lot of confidence, really.
Sorry, Keontae Ingram, I'm good.
And Imani Bailey, sorry.
Who?
Yeah.
Imani Bailey. One?
Imani Bailey. Yeah.
No, I know who it is.
More people probably know his name than Keontae Ingram, honestly. Yeah.
Which is crazy because the only reason that would be is because we're in Big 12 country. But hey.
Yeah, exactly. So, with that, reports came out today that the Chiefs are
wild reports.
Yeah. Pretty stunning for a lot of people. The Chiefs are set to host former Chiefs running back, former Browns running back Kareem Hunt on a visit on Tuesday. That'll be today. You're listening to this tomorrow for us. it seems like per the way that this is getting reported, that it's pretty likely that Kareem Hunt is going to be re-signing with the Chiefs here, barring any crazy things they find in the workout tomorrow. But from the way that these things have been reported, the inklings in the building, seems like this might be an actual reunion. Kareem Hunt back in a Chiefs uniform after 6 years. It's been, I believe, 6 years
Pretty close.
since he was last in a Chiefs uniform. Kyle, what do you think about it?
I tweeted it a little bit earlier. I would love to have been a fly on the wall for the conversation between Brett Veach, Andy Reid, and Clark Hunt. We all know why Kareem isn't here.
Yep.
Kareem could have still been on this roster, like right now.
Could still be on the roster right now. Yeah.
Except for his choices, not just the ones that were on video, but also the ones that took place after the stuff that was on video, and the decisions he made by not being honest. Typically, when you make a billionaire look stupid, they're not all that forgiving, and you don't typically get a second opportunity. So people want to hate on Clark. They need to give him his credit when he gets it. He's listening to his football people.
Yep.
He's putting away his private pride and what in an awfully bad situation 6 years ago, and how all of those things, all that transpired to do what this football team needs potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this: I have no idea how much gas he has left in the tank, but I can guarantee you one thing: you're gonna get all of it, every bit.
Yeah, you sure are.
Of all the guys who have suffered consequences for their actions in the NFL, which is not nearly as many of them as they should.
Yeah.
He's one of the few who has shown and sounded and acted actually remorseful for what happened.
Yep.
Whether it's, and Kent Swanson posted it today, but first thing that jumped to my mind also when I heard about it was him with the Cleveland cop with the audio.
Got pulled over there. Yeah.
Being subjected to being next to Deshaun Watson for a while, I'm sure probably illuminated some things for him too. Being stuck in organizations that are not well run, that are not well put together, that don't do things a certain way. Ask McCole Hardman. He'll tell you it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks when you're now on a championship tier organization like the Chiefs.
So you're going to get the most out of him, whatever that may be. I don't know what that looks like at this point. I know that they didn't run the wheels off of him in Cleveland because they had Nick Chubb and other guys.
That's the saving grace with the football talk of it. Is at least he hasn't been a main bell cow for the past couple years. But yeah, it's very interesting. I will say the reunion doesn't necessarily surprise me. It seemed like, obviously it was a very
total surprise. I know you don't. I'm totally.
Yeah. So let me explain so obviously I actually went back and looked at some of the articles way back in the day from when Kareem Hunt got released, when this news kind of came out. As much as he did embarrass the organization, and they probably were not very happy with him, it didn't necessarily seem like they had like a complete bridges burned situation when they cut him. It was kind of one of those things. They have to cut him because of what he did and what the image of it was. But I remember there was a report that they said basically like, hey, we're gonna let you go if you need help outside the game. We are more than happy to get you some of that help. And
it's the Clark side.
And the way that his teammates had talked about him after the fact too, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, they all came out with very big words of encouragement and positive words about Kareem. I think there's a lot of people in that organization that still have a lot of respect and love for Kareem Hunt, and I think we've seen it. People make mistakes and whatnot, and it does seem like Kareem. I don't want to say he's a good guy, but it seems like he has been more of a positive guy and trying to make, like Kyle said, trying to make kind of efforts to.
He's at least been remorseful.
Yeah, exactly, and kind of work back. And he's, when he went to Cleveland, he did good work in the community there and all that good stuff. They had a lot of positive things to say about him in Cleveland. So it's just one of those things. Football
lie.
Yeah, and it's, he's a young guy when he did that, and he learned a mistake. He learned, and it cost him a good, like we said, he could still be on the roster right now.
Money.
Like he could have literally been the franchise running back for the Chiefs for the next 10 years.
Running backs don't last that long, but I appreciate your sentiment.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. It could have been a lot different. I think he's matured enough now to realize that position, and from the football side of it, like I said, who knows how much he still has. At least he does kind of fill that first down, second down role. He at least has some familiarity with the offense. So I don't hate the move. We'll see.
I don't know how familiar. That offense has changed quite a bit.
It's still Andy Reid offense. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Still Andy Reid offense.
Yes. There's
still Matt Nagy as the play caller or as the OC who was back in the day.
That's wild because that was.
Yeah. So
they did a whole cycle of Matt Nagy getting back again.
Yeah, it is a whole circle how he kind of started with their organization at the beginning of the dynasty, and then he's going to come help us, potentially help us come and secure the three-peat. So
also,
we will see.
Talking about it is because if we're able to know about it already, it's done.
Exactly. Usually something like this, usually a workout visit isn't necessarily as hyped up as this.
As long if there wasn't already the discussion and the green lighting.
Yeah. I mean, just getting him back in the building, that had to have been discussion to even bring him into the building. So, yeah, as long as he's good football-wise and medically-wise, I would wager my money on him being back in the Chiefs uniform.
The Eagles just lost to the Falcons.
They did, yeah, pretty grossly, too. That's real tough for the Eagles. Matt Ryan's on the broadcast and mancast, so he's pretty happy about it. So with that is kind of the update for the off the field stuff, for the roster moves and whatnot.
Kareem Hunt, arm hunt, Jalen. What the hell?
Yeah, Kareem Hunt likely going to be back in the Chiefs uniform. Unfortunately, it's going to be some stupid weird number like number 40, which I hate. I'm a number nerd, so unfortunately, Chamari Connor, he's a dog, but he took number 27 from Kareem. That sucks. So, yeah, unless barring something crazy, I think Kareem Hunt will be a Chief again. The Chiefs at this current point in time have 3 available roster spots. Well, they will have 3 available roster spots when they put Pacheco on IR. But, yeah, they have 3 available spots because of Hollywood, Pacheco, and then also they waived Peyton Hendershot, which was the tight end who was inactive week 1, who got a fine for pushing Roquan Smith and all that stuff. Was active this game for 7 snaps, and they waived him. So we'll see if he makes it back on the practice squad or not. He might get picked up by another team like the Cowboys, who he was just on. But that them waiving him nullified or voids that trade that they gave for a 7th rounder. So we'll see. Kind of a non-move, but there are now allowed spots on the active roster for somebody. So we'll see.
A lot.
Yeah, so we'll see if we get more news on what they do with those spots later in the week when we're back with you. For the Falcons preview, who are coming off a very big win versus the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's going to be
that changes the whole tenor of this matchup.
They don't scare me though. They really still don't scare me. Kirk still can't really move very well. So we're going to talk about that later this week.
He told Troy Aikman that today, which was weird.
It's like, all right, bro, stop the cap.
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm just only good in the pocket.
Yeah.
What?
So how does that work? How does that?
I know you've never been a mobile quarterback, but buddy.
Hey, they got the dub, so I guess so. So with that, we will let you guys get out of here. Thank you all once again for tuning in and watching. Just gotta say, take all these moments for granted. Don't get too down on the Chiefs for having ugly regular season or wins and losses.
Care about regular season.
Exactly. As we should all know, the regular season doesn't really matter as long as the record is a positive one and we get us into the playoffs with a good seeding. That's all that matters. So they're going to figure it out. Don't be so negative about the Chiefs because we are literally witnessing one of the greatest dynasty runs in the history of the NFL. So there's no point in being negative about a bunch of stuff. Why? Like just be positive, and then it'll be all good. That being said, thank you all so much for watching, tuning in, and listening. Check us out, Kingdom Says Pod, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts at. And we will be back later this week for the preview episode and hopefully back with some other news and whatnot for the Chiefs. So thank you all for tuning in and watching. We will see you guys on the next episode of The Kingdom Says.